Alright, y'all, I got a special one for y'all today. And in the Escape Horror Week, Trap Week, with a big bang. You already know this, Zeezzy the King. Like and subscribe. Add me on Facebook, Zach King. Y'all get it, but y'all ain't doing it. So like and subscribe. Add me, comment. Let's get it up. Trying to get 1,000 subscribers by at least the next 6 months. Let's try to get to that. Minor goals. But today, you seen the thumbnail. This might get a little long-winded because this is one of my favorite in the franchise. I got Saw 6. This is a 2009. I was there, y'all, in the theater, popcorn, ready, me and my wife. It had a budget of $11 million. It made $68 million. They were still in the grace zone. This is, I think, even before Paranormal Activity started taking them out of the box office, and really what put the final nail in the coffin was the Paranormal Activity movies start making more and dropping around Halloween like Saw. This cast is not super great. It got a lot of recurring characters like Shawnee Smith as Amanda. I'm not going to mention her even though I just did. But this is carried by Tobin Bell as Jigsaw, John Kramer, a.k.a. Jigsaw. We got Costas Meladare. That's Mark Hoffman, legendary for the franchise. We got Peter Outerbridge. That's Mr. William Easton. He's the main protagonist. The game is all around. We got Tandra Howard as Simone. I only mention her because, in my opinion, this is the best opening trap to a Saw franchise. And two, the franchise was so white hot that they had a show called Scream Queens in which she was a contestant on, and the winner of the show was going to get a role in an upcoming Jigsaw film. So, basically, they knew going into Saw 6, they was going to have a character from this show, whoever won, with a small role. I thought it was going to be like a lead role, but either way it go, that's her little backstory. What makes this movie so great to me is it got several different plots that 4 and 5 fumbled with. 1, 2, and 3, like, first of all, I gotta say why I love this franchise as an adult. This is the only horror franchise, in my opinion, that the first 3 movies are classics. 1, 2, and 3. Classics. Secondly, they fumbled the bag with 4 and 5. The protagonist and antagonist wasn't there. I'm going to review them movies, but I chose to skip over them and go straight to 6. Because if you check my channel out, I reviewed 1, 2, and 3 a year ago. Check them out. But I'm going past 4 and 5 because I don't view them as escape room, trap week material, because the targets are constantly moving throughout the movie for 4 and 5. They're not trapped in a secluded area for the duration of the movie like 1 and this one are, and 2 and 3 for that instance. Some Jigsaw movies, the target is on the move throughout locations, and some are just stationary targets within a building, confined space. But this movie, to me, it's great. It's brilliant from all plots. The A plot is William Easton, and it had a real world feel to this. During the insurance crises during the time in real world, they bled that into the real storyline. William Easton is some kind of big shot executive for the Umbrella Insurance Corporation, not to be confused with Umbrella from Resident Evil, another Resident Evil reference. I might review that coming up in the near future, Resident Evil. But he's like a vice president for the company, and all their job, their insurance company. But they are kind of like on the fringe of dubious, ways of, neglecting their clients and, not accepting some clients for health reasons or the payout, really. Like, they collect your money for 30 years. If you have one thing wrong with you, the payout is not going to happen. That's what I mean by felonious activities with this Umbrella Corporation. He meeting with his lawyer early in the movie about a client that, I guess, suing them, and they going through the, what you should say at the deposition, woo-woo. He telling her, fuck off, I'm going to say what I want, I got to know how to handle these people. So, he talking to a client where the client is, like I said, he say, I've been paying my bill and my insurance for 25 years. Me and my wife never been sick. Now you telling me I can't get my life insurance policy money that I need for my cancer because of a toothache I had 20 years ago. Don't make sense. And that's what they do. He got a team of like 6 of his best employees. They go through every case with a fine comb tooth to find discrepancies to not have to pay out when a person need their insurance money. They get their comeuppance too. But besides that, he just tell him, the guy walks out as he leaving, like, you just killed me. If y'all ain't gonna hold me down and pay for this procedures I need and chemo, then I'ma die. So that's just a sad moment. And you see Easton is kind of not evil, but damn, you bogus. I mean, I know insurance company in the business are making money, but when when you got a client, a person you've been doing business with this long, 20 years, paying a mortgage and paying an insurance bill with no problems, I think you should look out for a person like that. He thought otherwise. That's when we see Hoffman is coming off the last game where he just killed. Time out. Spoilers for the franchise and other movies, because it's going to be flashbacks within flashbacks for movies I haven't covered in moments. So spoilers for the whole thing. I'm glad I ain't got too deep before I said that. This 2009 this movie came out in. So, Hoffman is recovering and coming back from his last trap that he just killed Detective Strong in. So he listening to the recording of the traps he done. Like, he got a sick fetish with hearing people suffer. And the Tandra Howard character, let me get to that before I start, because I'm gonna get to the plot after I mention this, why I said this is the best kill at the beginning. Her and her partner are basically they work like loan sharks for a loan shark company, but they make sure your interest rate is so high you can never pay. That's like moving into a low income house, but you got to have 6 times the rent. Something where it's just unfair for a normal person. So they take your insurance, they take your, they lend you out money and they know you can never pay back. So now they in your pocket for the rest of your life. And Jigsaw saw it, he got him. The aim of this game is a pound of flesh for a pound of flesh. It's a fat white guy and a skinny black girl. Whoever can cut the most body parts out of real human flesh out their body win. He started cutting the fat chunk of his stomach off. She cutting pieces her arm, but when she realized he weighing down his chunks of pounds of flesh, she chops her whole arm off, wins the game. And every few minutes, it's like a drill going into their head. It's like a reverse bear trap that got a drill. So every few minutes, it goes into their head before it eventually kills them both, or the pound of flesh fills up. Excellent opening kill, best kills of the open, because every movie started with an opening kill. This was the best to me. Now getting to the movie. Eastman, first of all, Hoffman do what he do. He kidnapping plenty of motherfuckers, because it's gonna be everybody Easton come in contact with, workers, employees, underlings, all of them are people who finna be in his game. Because his motto is, out of 10 clients he want to save probably 7 of them and 3 die. Or maybe it's the opposite. We're save 3 and 7 die because they a little dirty. My point is, he real schematic and mathematic with numbers about how he dish out the insurance company money to who deserve to be paid out and who don't. So the first trap after they catch him up, first they get him in the office, elaborate. It's all rainy, stormy, dark. He get the busting at somebody he thought trying to get him, but it turns out to be a real person. But it was all a hoax. They trap him. The first game is the janitor. You see the janitor, it's always a flashpoint where you see a person, a character that you know you might see back. And it's the 6th movie in, so they can't fool nobody like 1 and 2 they did. The aim in this game, they rib cage is hooked up to like a machine that's going to crush their rib cage. So the aim is to hold your breath the longest. Whoever take a breath, the rib cage blocker encloses closer and closer before it crack your ribs and kill you. This is a For one, this is where Jigsaw falls apart. It started falling apart before this, but where is this guy chance to live? The janitor who smoked. He smoked cigarettes and he older. Why is he getting tested from the jump? Don't think about it, Jigsaw. He's godly, so don't question it. Bullshit. William Easton is more healthier, younger, and don't smoke. So he easily beats this test. This is a warm-up, because when he woke up, he got like detonating bombs on both arms, both legs. After every test, he get a key to unlock one. His ultimate goal is to get back to his family, so we think. Because he in a conference call, you hear his wife supposedly telling him it's my birthday, woo-woo. He like, I ain't gonna miss it for the world. The side story is kind of... Hoffman is the background for this movie besides the side story. All of him coming out as Jigsaw revealed in part 4. So now we got part 4 is the reveal of Hoffman as the apprentice. Part 5, he flat out the villain and people ain't knowing it's him, but they suspecting him. By 6, it's evidence that he killed Seth Baxter and blamed Jigsaw. The Hoffman kill ain't discovered at this point yet. But certain Jigsaw kills are only common to things that's common to Hoffman. They hid Perez's death from him in part 4, if I'm not mistaken, or 5, I think, just so to keep her under wraps, to try to find out who may be assisting Jigsaw. Hoffman got all of the case numbers he'd been from all Jigsaw victims. So now Strong was covering this up in 5. Now the FBI, Erickson, head of FBI, is really showing up at crime scenes now, where it's fingerprints and stuff, because this is like the secondary plot, really, but it's really big as the first plot, because it's 3 movies deep with Hoffman before the world know who he is. So that's like the secondary plot. It keep having flashbacks of Jill Tuck. It might have a flashback of Shawnee Smith character Amanda with Cecil. Little shit like that just to keep them in the franchise, in the movie. Back to the main storyline. We get to another trap with Mr. Easton where the game come on, Billy the Puppet told him the game. He got to hold these chain shackles that keeps both of his employees on the platform. Whichever one he let go is the person who's going to die of hanging on a barbed wire noose. So he's telling both, I'm not going to let neither one of y'all go. But in his world of insurance, the older lady would be less valuable because the older lady is his secretary. The young, healthy guy is his mailroom employee. So even though she mean more for his day-to-day life and business, the younger guy is more healthy. So he would normally choose the younger guy to live. But the younger guy don't got a family, nothing like that. Nobody will miss him. He a immigrant somewhat, they trying to imply, compared to her. He been to parties of her family. He been to all, job parties, meeting her husband and grandkids. So he know if she'd be a bigger loss. Even though neither one of them both don't deserve to die, he chose to save the lady. Jigsaw is trying to test his motto. Like I told you, when the blood is on your hands and it's in your face, you ain't getting it. That's when they have the flashback of Tobin Bell. For one, we all know they should have never killed him in part 3. It was a great ending if y'all was going to end the franchise. But y'all knew y'all wasn't going to... Excuse me. Y'all knew y'all wasn't going to be able to carry the franchise without him. That's why he in so many flashbacks. They show the flashback of Easton because every time he passed a test, he get to take one of the ankle bombs off and it has a message written on it. This one says, cherish your life, because that's where he met him at Jill's Homeward Bound clinic when they first opened it. He was the early sponsor to pay money to invest in it. He meet William meet John Kramer even before he's Jigsaw. And he telling him about the policy and this and that. He like, oh, that's pretty cool. Who came up with that? Easton like me. He like, but you ain't calculating the most important part of life. He like, what's that? He like the will to live. So they have that kind of flashback where Easton know. Damn, this nigga deep. It's some more side scenes where we seen earlier where Easton denied one of his 30-year patients of insurance money. They inside of a like a trap. Basically, they got a abandoned zoo that they done confiscated. Hoffman, they probably own it. Jill Tuck family or Jigsaw probably bought the property. So they in the enclosure. Every trap, every room got different games set up for the participants of William Easton's life. In this room, we got the reporter lady who been at the beginning of the movie. She been in a lot of scenes throughout the movie. It's just a minor character. If you know the franchise, she familiar face. And then we got the man who he killed at the beginning. He didn't kill, but he denied insurance. It got his wife and son in the room, and it got two big ass hydrofluoric acid tanks set up with a switch to say on and off with tubes. So they don't know what the fuck to do. The girl get her the tape to play, and she breaks it before she hear what she got to do. So we never get a tape for them. So you looking at that as they might have a minor role at the very end to connect this dot to that dot like they always connect. Now we get to the damn boiler room, and this shit right here to me was, woo, this was a tough one. His lawyer is in the boiler room where he got to, know what I'm saying, cat and mouse his way through the entire boiler room to get her up to the safety level where he at to pass the game. The catch to this is every so often he got to press a button that steams hot pipe, you know what I'm saying, hot steam at him so she don't catch the steam. Every few spots he gotta touch a fire button so she get through without getting harmed. Sometimes he do it, sometimes he can't take the pain and it scorches her. Once they get through all of that trials and tribulation, that was a hell of a scene, if I say. Boiler room scene at its best. Once they get to the same level, this was a timer. They got like 5 minutes to do this. Even though they get through with like 4 minutes, a minute ain't gonna be enough because the key to get out is inside of him. They looking at the x-rays and stuff in this show. The key is inside of him. So when he lift his stomach, he like, oh shit, she knows she got a minute to live because she got a mask on that's gonna be like a screw gun gonna go through her head when the timer go off. So she ain't got no chill, no panic. She picked the circular saw up, trying to kill him to cut the key out. He like, no, listen, let me cut it out. I can do it for you. She ain't trying to hear none of that. They get to fighting, the minute run out, the screw gun go through her head, she dead. I felt like a lot of these people he died, blood is on his hand is the test. But I don't think Jigsaw would have been this damn vicious, because some of these are like, Jigsaw is vicious, but it just seemed like Hoffman, he loved to torture a little more. Now we get to the best trap in the franchise history, in my opinion. We got the merry-go-round. I said this in passing earlier. All applicants get denied from these 6 main employees that he look at as his most valuable. Look at discrepancies or a potential lie that a applicant might have said they got this, but they didn't. They make this much, but they don't. Whatever the discrepancy is, 85% of denied applications come from these 6 people. So they got them on a merry-go-round, a children's playground merry-go-round. All of his 6 best employees. He got to stick his hand where a metal rod go through it to save them. Otherwise, they gonna get shotgunned by every time the merry-go-round go around, it stops. The shotgun lowers and it's gonna shoot a motherfucker and kill him. But he only get 2 times to save him. So no matter what, 4 people dying automatically. But he can sacrifice a hole in the hand for 2. He chooses one of his employees with the child, and he chooses another lady, which was something I didn't have a problem with. But this scene was like a 8-10 minute game, way longer than a normal. All of his employees are like, save me, Mr. E. I'm valuable. I'm the healthiest. I'm the strongest. You gotta save me. They bickering, battling. They bringing all the skeletons out their closet that each employee done told them about each other. Just all kind of yelling and cussing to be saved. At the very end, Easton pick who he picked. Hellified game. We go from the side scene. This one, Hoffman turned into a full-fledged horror villain. They've been real, I'm not saying suspicious with him all movie. Like Perez coming out being alive, he didn't like that. Erickson is like trying to get him to be on his side I'm trying to get next to you type shit. Not like I really trust you. So they racking wishy-washy. They in a secret laboratory where they dissecting voices from the tape that has certain fingerprints, certain knife cuts. When they decipher the tape, it turns out to be Hoffman. Hoffman kills the lights, throw the coffee in Erickson's face, cut Erickson's neck. He get the gutting Perez. The other cop shooting, he shoot her. He just killed the whole motherfucking scene up. Horror villain. Jigsaw wouldn't like nothing like this. He want to set a motherfucker up perfectly and kill him, not flat out murder him. Hoffman goes up, get the fake fingerprints that he been holding Strom's in a little room. He put his fingerprints everywhere, burn the motherfucker down. Like, damn, okay. Now we pan back to Easton. He had his final test, basically. He gotta, I think he gotta do some weird ass shit. Like, no, that ain't that. I don't know what happened. After he get out the hydric acid room, after he get out the merry-go-round room, it's just certain things that say, go through this room, go here, your last chance, 2 more minutes. So he's struggling, he hurt, fucked up from every game. He get to the room, the door locks. That's when he see the girl he been talking on the phone that we thought it was his wife. Turns out she's the news reporter, it's his sister. And that's when he see them. And we hear the test. Jigsaw come down like, yeah, I'm sorry to the lady. You putting your son through this, but I'm finna make y'all the ultimate choice givers. He chose not to save y'all father and husband, but look what he did for his loved one. He did all he could to save her, but that ain't gonna matter because y'all got the ultimate choice. Can y'all give him salvation like he didn't give your father and husband, or can y'all just say, I can't give him salvation? The mother like, that's what the button for to push. She like, I can't do it. She break down crying. I know you took my husband, but I'm not a killer like you. The son like, fuck that. My father didn't deserve to die. I can push the button. And now you gonna burn in hell. He pushes the on button. That's when the jigsaw trap comes down. Big ass metal rods of hydrofluoric acid. You see both of the big ass tanks I talked about earlier start flooding into the tubes, just melting Mr. Easton ass alive. Before that happened, Mr. Easton like, I won, I beat it. Let my sister go. And then he realized, fuck. This ain't my game. And that's his life. Blood been on your hands. The symbolic of the movie is in your face. You had everybody life in, even though they did all their work to need your assistance, you had their life in your hand and you chose not to. Now all the shit you did your life for insurance, your life is in their hands. Brilliant. Kills him in front of his sister, body horror. When it snaps off from the melts of the acid, it looked brutal, great. I'm talking about this movie. I left the theater happy as hell after this one, and I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 to me. This one of the best in the franchise. The first 3 are all 10s without even spoiling it. Them are 3 10s, perfect 10s. And this one is a little under all 3 of them. I'm giving this a 9. And there we have it. Saw 6. Zeezzy the King. Your favorite horror channel. Like and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next week.